There are thousands of photographers better than me, and thousands who could have taken this picture better than I did. Even I, using different techniques, might have improved it. But I would have made a fundamental mistake. This mistake, which I've forbidden myself to make, is one of my first rules for becoming a successful real estate photographer. Stay with me, and I'll explain everything shortly. My name is Pierluigi Cavara. I'm Italian, and I've been living for years on the beautiful Costa Blanca in Spain. Here, I've pursued my passion for photography and video, building a business that today collaborates with various real estate agencies, private clients, architects, banks, online companies, and many more. With over 30 years of experience, I've had the opportunity to learn a lot, but also to observe countless mistakes. I've seen talented colleagues, true photography artists, fail and close their businesses, sometimes even ending up in debt. This led me to study and try to understand why this happens and what I could do to avoid making the same mistakes. Now, I want to share with you what I've learned throughout my experience, tips, strategies, and practical advice to become a successful real estate photographer. My methodology is simple and straightforward, focusing on what truly matters. If you too want to improve the quality of your work, optimize your time, and earn more, or turn real estate photography into your successful career, follow me and start making a difference today. Time is money. One of the main variables to increase your income is time management. Let's make a practical example. Imagine you're doing a photo shoot for a villa, taking 40 photos, and it takes you 2 hours to shoot and another 2 hours for post-production. That's a total of 4 hours of work. Now ask yourself, how much is an hour of your time worth? Let's use a reasonable average in Spain. 80 euros per hour. For your 4 hours of work, the cost would be 320 euros in total. Sounds reasonable, right? But I assure you that, in the real estate sector, both in Spain and, likely in many other countries, it's difficult to find clients willing to pay 320 euros for a photo shoot. So, what could you do to work daily in this sector and earn well? Lower the price? Maybe accept 200 euros. Or even 150 euros. Sure, it's still money, but let's do the math. A workday should be 8 hours. With 2 photo shoots of 4 hours each, you'd earn 300 euros, taking up your entire workday. But it won't be easy to find 2 daily sessions at this price. The result, you'd work very little and wouldn't be able to build a sustainable business. The solution: optimize time. The real estate market offers an average price per session of around 90 to 100 euros. In some cases, it can go higher, but in others, unfortunately, it can drop to as low as 40 euros. If you take 4 hours for a 90 euro session, the hourly income is too low to be sustainable. The key, then, is to reduce time. Now imagine you manage to complete the same session in 1 hour, including post-production. With 90 euros, you'd already earn an acceptable figure for an hour of work. Moreover, there would be 2 additional advantages. You'd be less invasive for the property owner, who would appreciate the speed at which you complete the job. Real estate agents, always busy, would thank you for helping them better manage their time. But what if I told you this time could be reduced even further, even halved? Think about it. Completing the session in just 30 minutes would double your hourly income to 180 euros per hour. This way, your work would not only be sustainable, but also adequately rewarded, leaving you time to do more sessions or dedicate yourself to other activities. Let's go back to the initial picture. As I explained, The mistake I avoided was underestimating time. This photo, along with the others from the same session, was taken in about 15 minutes, respecting the necessary speed I just mentioned. But how did I achieve it without compromising quality? I avoided another common mistake that's easy to make. Mistake number 2. Thinking speed inevitably leads to low-quality photos. False. Of course, you need to know how to do it. Sometimes, as photographers, we approach a photo with the idea that it must be our new masterpiece, the creation we want to show the world to prove how talented we are. This leads us to spend time and energy striving for absolute perfection, at least from a photographic point of view. However, we risk forgetting the true purpose of that image, which is not to feed our ego, but to help sell or rent a property. For this reason, I believe it's more useful, while taking photos, to shift from the idea of a masterpiece to that of effective advertising. The goal is not to create the perfect photo, but to produce an image that conveys the right message and fulfills its function. What I'm about to tell you represents the foundation to start from. I will guide you step by step in this mini course, showing you exactly what I do every day to carry out my work. There are various photographic techniques for real estate. I can tell you that I've tried them all, both individually and in combination. The one I'll show you today, my method, is the one I consider to provide the best balance between speed, quality, and fidelity to the result. I mean that the photos will more accurately reflect the visual reality, colors, and the warm atmosphere of the place at that moment. In the description of the video on YouTube, you'll find a preset I created for you. Download it and install it in Lightroom. You'll also find affiliate links to the products I use and truly recommend for my work. If you like the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, enabling the notification bell so you won't miss future content. In fact, do it now. I'll pause the video for 10 seconds, starting now. What you need: a professional camera. I use the Sony a7 IV and Sony a7 III, both capable of delivering excellent results. Equivalent cameras from other brands can work too. A professional wide-angle lens. I use the Sony 14mm 1.8 GM, Sony 12 to 24mm f4G, Voigtländer 15mm. Other similar focal lengths or lenses from different brands can be suitable, as long as they are high quality. An on-camera flash. I use Sony flashes, but equivalent models from other brands also work fine. A memory card from a recognized brand. I use SanDisk SD cards, which have never given me any issues. What you don't need: a tripod. It's bulky, heavy, and slows down the photo-taking process. Portable lights or external flashes. These unnecessarily waste time. How to take the photos. These guidelines are valid for most situations, although they may not apply, for example, to nighttime or sunset photos. Step 1. Understand the light. Divide the spaces to be photographed into two groups: homogeneous light, uniform lighting throughout the frame, e.g., interiors without strong backlight. High contrast light, areas with very different lighting. For example, interiors with windows letting in intense sunlight. Step 2. Divide the spaces. Mentally separate the property into two macro groups. Exteriors, for example, the facade, garden, pool, etc. Interiors, rooms, garage, stairs, etc. Photographing exteriors. Although sunlight is usually the main light source, in many cases, the lighting will be homogeneous. Camera settings. ISO 100, shutter speed 1/250th, aperture f8, focus 3 to 5 meters. If the exposure is too high, for example, intense sunlight, increase the aperture to f9, f/10, etc., until the indicator shows 0. If the shadows are too dark, return to f8 and slightly increase the ISO. Key points for exterior photos. Always keep the camera parallel to the ground to avoid distorted perspectives, converging or diverging lines. The lens should be parallel to the facade for frontal shots. Always shoot in RAW format. What to photograph? The main facade. 2 or more angles of the property. Relevant features like a pool, barbecue area, garden, etc. Photographing interiors. When photographing interiors, follow a logical order, starting at the entrance and moving clockwise to ensure nothing is overlooked. Interior lighting groups. High contrast light. Example, a room with windows and intense sunlight. Camera settings. Shutter speed 1/250, aperture f8, focus 2 to 3 meters. ISO, adjust until the meter reads -1.7. Flash on, pointing upward, slightly tilted toward you, with a small diffuser. If you don't have one, use your hand over the flash to diffuse the light. In this way, take a picture. If the view outside the window is too bright, lower the meter to -2.0 or more. If it's too dark, increase it to -1.5 or more. Homogeneous light. Example, a room without windows or mirrors reflecting light. Camera settings. Adjust shutter speed until the exposure meter reads 0, avoiding speeds too slow. Don't go below 1/20th to avoid motion blur. If necessary, increase ISO, but try not to exceed 1600 to 2000 to maintain quality. Key points for interior photography. Keep the camera parallel to the ground to avoid distortions. Frame shots to highlight the space and include the most relevant elements of the room. Recommended height, approximately 1.2 meters, 4 feet, from the floor. Ensure the camera is always higher than nearby surfaces. Example, countertops, tables, beds. Always shoot in RAW format. What to photograph? 2 to 3 photos in each of the main rooms, balconies, and terraces, with additional shots in living rooms, lounges, and kitchens. Take photos from different angles to showcase the space and layout. Ensure the spaces are tidy and free of personal items. Highlight unique details and special features such as fireplaces, flooring, or designer tiles. For rental properties, include striking details. A coffee maker, plants, sound system, using wide apertures to achieve blurred backgrounds. Post-production. What you need. Software, Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop or similar. Hardware, a computer. Optional, a Wacom graphic tablet for faster editing. A quality monitor. I use the BenQ, which I find excellent. Copy the RAW files into a folder named after the client, location, and date. Create a Lightroom catalog with the same name and import the RAW files. Apply the preset I've created for you. Photo editing, interiors. Exposure adjustment. Increase exposure until the histogram peak is in the fourth segment from left to right. Reduce shadows until a small peak appears in the second segment of the histogram, or until dark areas appear properly exposed. Lower blacks until the histogram's left triangle lights up. White balance. Use the eyedropper tool on a white surface, example, a wall. Slightly increase the temperature to add warmth to the scene. Managing overexposures. Use the brush with maximum flow and density and medium feathering to cover overexposed areas, example, window views. Reduce exposure as needed. If overexposure affects only the sky, select it and decrease exposure and temperature to enhance the blue. Local adjustments. Use another brush to brighten overly dark areas. Alignment. In the Transform tab, click Auto to start. Manually adjust if necessary to ensure perfect vertical and horizontal lines. Example, doors, windows, horizon. Cropping. Use the Crop Overlay tool to create a clean, balanced composition, avoiding cutoff or distracting elements. Object removal. Use AI-powered object removal to eliminate reflections, forgotten objects, etc. Lightroom will provide 3 options to choose from. Final touch. Adjust vibrance and saturation as needed. Rate the photo with 5 stars, key 5, if you consider it one of the best to deliver to the client. Exteriors. White balance. Set to daylight and slightly increase the temperature if necessary. Exposure. Balance the histogram to create the most regular wave possible. Sky management. Select the sky, reduce exposure, and increase blue saturation. Shadows. Use the brush tool to lighten overly dark areas, adjusting the temperature slightly for a more natural result. Alignment and cropping. Follow the same procedure as described for interiors. Object removal. Remove distracting elements, such as unwanted cars or people in the background. Final touch. Adjust vibrance and saturation as needed. Rate the photo with 5 stars, key 5, if you consider it among the best to deliver to the client. Export. Export all photos by applying the 5-star filter to show only the highest rated images. Select them all and export. I hope the tips I've shared help you improve your photos and achieve increasingly professional results. If you have any questions, doubts, or topics you'd like me to cover in future videos, leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to respond and create content tailored to your needs. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.